Hey and welcome to another Destination Destiny video. I'm Nick and I'm here with Nico. How's it going, Nico?
Not too bad, thank you very much.
Cool, so today we're going to run through the Destiny 2 Beta Strike. Nico, you went to the Virgin Beta launch event the day before everyone else got it. How did that go? That
was pretty awesome, to be honest with you. We got to basically play the beta a day early, and I think it was just like there was an infectious excitement around the event, because it was essentially there was a fan version of it. There was a press version of it that was later in the day, but I attended the fan one, and it was just so much fun, you know, being around other people who just love the game and they're not there to cover it and write about it. They're there just to play it because they're excited about it. And yeah, I mean, everyone's played the beta now, so you know, I'm not going to go into too much about like the game because we've all played it, but to have the opportunity to play it that day early as a fan, you know, I was super excited. The setup was amazing. Virgin did a great job along with Activision, so yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So what was your like first impression? Because obviously we'd seen it at like events like E3 and the gameplay reveal, but none of us had really kind of tried it at that point. So what was your kind of first take on being able to actually play it for the first time?
I mean, it did feel familiar because I had watched it quite a few times. I'd obviously watched the footage that we saw at the Destiny reveal event, and there were so many different YouTubers who were there who all, you know, did so much that I must have watched it 100 times. So playing it didn't feel too different. I have to admit, the strike, it's not a bad strike, but you know, we'll go through it and we'll go over what we think, but it felt familiar. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, because that was my when I first played it during the beta. My first impression of it was that it was a bit too much more of the same. From what we've seen in Destiny 1. Certainly it looked nicer, the scope was nice, and there was stuff that we could do in between, like man cannons, if you like we're coming up to see now. They're quite cool, and they changed the raid up a little bit, the strike. But overall for me it was still a bit of A to B and shooting in between, and they hadn't really made the most of like the three-man fire team that I'd expected them to at this point. Whether we see anything more in other strikes, we'll have to wait and see on that. But what was your view on that? Do you think they could have done a bit more maybe with the strikes?
I do think they could have. I'm reluctant to say they haven't yet because this is only the first strike we've seen in the entire game.
Exactly, yeah.
Potentially they might be holding stuff back, just to give us a taste, you know, like there were, you know, it's not like this was the exact same thing that we are used to getting, but the formula is very similar, sorry. So, you know, there was some cool little things in there for sure. But I have hope that we'll see some much more mechanical, end of strike bosses. You know, because we had that in Destiny 1 where it wasn't just bullet sponges, like you had to actually do something. Yeah. In order, like mini raid bosses, essentially. So I'm confident we'll see more of that, and hopefully some new surprises that they're just kind of holding back at the moment.
Yeah, because that kind of came in towards kind of the Rise of Iron stuff, taking King, where they did start adding a few more mechanics to the fights, didn't they? And if they do a bit more, like anything like that, really, I'm going to be a bit happier. It's just because, you know, we're going to be doing this over and over and over again. It's just, you don't want to be caught in that trap of just shooting things. And I mean, a lot of this you can kind of probably run through it still. I'm sure, I don't know if anyone's tried it or not, but I'm sure there's stuff you can just run through and not actually shoot anything, but we'll have to see on that front.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did a little bit of that, especially at, you know, the part where we'll get to that later actually, but there are some parts of the strike where I did just run through and I didn't stop for much time to shoot, because I recognized that the strike was the easiest way to get loot. For the beta.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to finish it quickly.
And I think that's going to be the case, like when everyone starts grinding it for gear. And I think people are going to end up doing that. It'll be I wanted them to include the 3 men, because essentially I found a lot of the Destiny 1 strikes, by the end of it, you could probably just solo them. You probably didn't need another 2 guys with you most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'll just mention that I'm on a gunslinger hunter at the moment. So it was something I was hoping was going to be quite good, but I hadn't really developed it as good as the Titan and the Warlock during the beta. I think mainly mainly PvE. I think there's probably some PvP people as well, but mainly the PvE support stuff, because obviously the Titan's got the shields and the Warlock's got the healing.
The rift.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as good. I'm enjoying it. I quite like the dodges, but how are you feeling about the kind of class balance at the moment?
I agree with you. I think compared to what the other two characters have in terms of contributing towards something, both the Warlock and the Titan have something that's very selfless almost. You know, it's not all about just them.
Yeah.
Whereas the Hunters is a very like selfish type of ability, and you know there's some cool stuff you can do with it for sure. However, considering that the Warlock has the ability to dodge mid-air, I'd have actually quite liked to have seen Shade Step stay in as just an ability, like a normal ability like it was before, and they give the Hunter something else.
Or even on a smaller cooldown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, like we've seen that the Warlock has the ability. So the Warlock actually has the ability to, you know, basically what's it called? The Twilight Garrison. They've given the Twilight Garrison's perk to the Warlock in the Dawnblade subclass, and as well as that, I was looking at the nodes. One of the perks that you unlock later down the line is you hold circle while in midair to fall down to the ground, you know, and restore your life. So it's possible, you know, to give these abilities to the characters without it having to be that third ability slot. I just feel like they could have done so much more with the Hunter. Like at first I didn't really think about it, but it was only after sort of playing with the Hunter that I really noticed it.
Yeah, I mean it does have some. I noticed some in the unlocked tree. There was a chain of woe, and they works for the entire team if you're close to them. And we've got some. There was some stuff in the locked perk tree as well that we didn't get to unlock, unfortunately, and try out. But we can only really judge what we've got in front of us, and at the moment they don't feel quite powered enough. But we'll have to wait and see again on that for the main game. Yeah, no,
completely agree. I think we had this conversation quite a few times. This is still just a beta. Things are going to change. I don't know if I don't think the abilities will change, but at least how the subclasses will feel, I expect will change. You know, they're not going to feel the same way they feel right now. You know, at least not exactly the same. This is a beta of a build that's months old, and whether you enjoyed it or you didn't enjoy it, we'll be getting something different come September 6th.
Yeah, because they've already said that the power ammo situation, it's already in their build that they've got at the moment. We're going to get a lot more power ammo, so I think that was a major gripe. The ammo's not great in the PvE part of the game at the moment. But apparently that's already fixed. We'll probably discuss more on that in the next podcast. But at least that's promising that they're already making steps to fix stuff that we notice. So that is a bonus.
Exactly.
What do you think of the enemies, kind of? Because they're obviously we're expecting similar enemies, but we've got some new kind of variants. The shields have changed. I've got that strange kind of dot in the middle, which seems like a really bad shield design from the Cabal, but
like a crit spot for a shield, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got the kind of little dogs we're seeing running around now, little beast. How are you feeling about those?
To be honest with you, I feel like some of them are great, some of them not so great. The dogs kind of remind me of the Thrall, but like a much scarier looking, you know, version of it. Like they're so easy to kill. It's just like their strengths are being in volume when there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and being a pain.
But you know, I feel like Cabal are a lot more dangerous now up close. You know, they've got the versions with the swords, as you can see, swiping away at us, and like you take two hits with them and you're dead. Yeah. You know, I do feel like they're a lot more dangerous.
I quite like those guys, the guys with kind of meat cleavers almost, it looks like. They're tough to beat. Yeah. They're really tough to beat, but I like those guys.
I like them too. What was the other thing? Yeah, I agree that the shield's a bit of a weird one, because I kind of I appreciate it from the point of view of wanting to win and wanting to, you know, get through them. but I think from like purely a critical standpoint of, well, this is a little bit too easy. You know, you no longer have to try and find the edges of the shield like you used to in order to get them to put their shield down. You can just shoot the middle and the whole thing goes away.
Why would they design it like that? That just seems crazy.
Yeah, it is a bit strange. So, you know, like I said, from the point of view of wanting to do well and get through the strike as quickly as possible, it's great, but not from the point of view of like actually trying to protect their AI enemies. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a little bit of a mixture at the moment. I'm not saying like they don't, like some of them look really cool. One of the things I really did want to see in Destiny 2 were like new races, not just variations on the races we have for enemies. So, you know, I'm still hopeful we'll see something down the line, but I'm thinking it might be a DLC by this point.
Yeah. I think this is a part I did run through. I've kind of learned a little path now where I just you just don't mess around in there.
So this is what I was thinking of as well. This is the part where you could just kind of like get through it. It felt more dangerous to stop and try to defeat the enemies than it did to just run.
Absolutely. I think I kind of hang out for the guys, but one guy's so stuck back, it's just no chance.
That was a nice little shade step to get into the gap there, though.
They do look cool. That's the thing I like about hunters. Like, even though they're pretty weak, they do look badass. You have to admit that.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so we're coming into the kind of end game bit now with the boss, with the Han Solo Carbonite. What the boss design? Now this is slightly different from what we've seen from Destiny 1 in the fact that it's got kind of 3 steps. I really like that they've done something a bit more with this.
Yeah,
it was a bit bullet spongy, but you know, we can't really judge that on levels and weapons and stuff. That will have to wait for the full game. But in general, I really liked the boss. I thought it was good. It was the kind of thing I was hoping for throughout the strike, not just at the end. But
yeah, no, I agree. I remember the first time I saw it, I thought, okay, well, this is cool. You know, it's got like stages to it. It's not just the same thing over and over again. I mean, like in terms of damaging the boss, you are aiming for the same spot for the first 2 goes. So, but you know, it does change up in the 3rd stage of it, which is good. It sort of gives us something slightly different to do. It kind of keeps us on our toes as well, because in the, like, again, in this first stage, you can see the boss is teleporting around, you know, making sure you need to be aware you can't just stay in one spot undercover and shoot away. You've got to make sure that when he teleports, you realize where he's going, because on many occasions I've had him just land on top of me, and then I've been dead. So you know, you've got to still be aware. The second stage, he's kind of still in the middle, isn't he? So it's a little bit easier, I think. But you've got the added thought about the floor becoming like lava, essentially. Yeah. So there's quite a lot to think about during this.
Yeah, I do like it. I think it was quite tough in places. I like how the map is quite contained, so it forces you to move around a bit. Like you say, with the lava floor kind of pops up in a minute on this section. You have to jump on a little cylinder to avoid it, which is cool, which is another kind of cool mechanic.
And that cylinder places you right in the view of the boss. Like,
yeah, so you have to keep... I think I just kind of jump between the cylinders. You end up kind of hopscotching.
Yeah.
But no, it looks cool. I mean, visually, you can't complain about Destiny 2. It's definitely a step up from the first game.
Yeah, I think it does look brilliant.
Yeah, I feel like they've added a little bit more colour to it, kind of saturated a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you know, a lot of the environments are quite colourful. I also just think that Destiny 1, you know, this is a game, this is what, a 3-year-old game, and so much progress can be made in 3 years.
Yeah.
That I think, you know, it's going to, compared to this, it's going to look dull, and it's going to look grainy and jagged, and you know, it's just like I don't want to say like bad, because I thought actually Destiny 1 looked good considering it was a game from 2014. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's there's such a big difference between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. so we're coming to the end of the fight now. I think there's one more stage, isn't there, where we go to the Vex milk place, and that kind of hurts you on the outside.
Yes.
It's been discovered the Warlock ability does kind of keep you healed in that phase. I feel like if you can get a couple of those, apparently you can kind of cheese it from the outside. But people always find that stuff.
I've seen as well, if you have the shield on the Titan, like the Sentinel shield, and you put that up, you can also walk on that substance without getting hurt.
Right. No,
so there's a few, you know, whether
cool.
this stuff makes it into the final game or not is to be seen, because it's kind of odd. But, you know, these are just little things that people have found in the beta. But you see here, you can see the crit spot has changed on the boss, which I really like.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure if it's done yet, but it will be soon. Once you, like, blow off his head. the crit spot. And I like that as well. I like that visually, you know, kind of like, what was that character? So there was a boss in the Taken, not in the Taken King, in the April update, Malok. When you were shooting him and his strike, his head exploded. Like, you could see the more you shot him, the bigger his head got. Then it exploded. And then Axiom bolts came out of his head. So I liked, you know, that there was that change after you got to a certain amount of health. Kind of similar here. Like, he doesn't become more dangerous. But actually, having said that, I think he comes into the middle of that point.
That is a good point, actually, because in a lot of kind of bosses you see in other games, their weapons evolve, don't they, as well? In Destiny, they don't really. They kind of just carry on going with what they've got, which is another thing where they could have just evolved it a little bit to make it improve. But yeah, we'll have to see what the other strikes do, because I'd like to see something more than what they've currently produced in this one.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think there's more to see. You know, Bungie have been really specific about not giving too much away. So I am quite confident that we are going to get more than what we're seeing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've gone over some more PvE stuff recently, haven't they? We're seeing some IGM reveals. And there's quite a lot on the PvE side, so it does give me optimism for what's coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely same. And honestly, PvE is sort of my preferred choice. You know, I know a lot of people love PvP, and I do enjoy it, but a good strike, a good story mission especially, and the raids they're my favourite parts of Destiny, so I really want to see them succeed.
Yep, and it's not long now. We'll find that out on September 6th when the game finally launches. So on that note, I think we're coming to the end of the video. Thank you as always, Nico, for joining me.
Thank you very much for you know, just spending some time talking Destiny.
And thank you to everyone else for watching. We've got tons of videos on the NGB YouTube channel and on the website, so please go and check those out. If you've enjoyed the video, please comment, like and subscribe. That really helps us out. And we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Had the Red Legion achieved their goal, I estimate a 60% chance this planetoid would have been destroyed in the ensuing battles.